You doing okay?
I'm doing great. I have this wonderful boyfriend. I got an advance on a book of personal essays.
But the headline is you're doing great?
So great. I think I'm depressed.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. The conversation of Bojack Horseman on this channel started with the character Diane Nguyen. At the end of Season 4, Diane's popularity was at an extreme low, and it would only get lower with Season 5. I spent my first Bojack Horseman video, as well as many others after, explaining why I and others found Diane to be an unlikable character. Not a bad character, just unlikable. One of my wishes for Season 6 was that Diane go through a journey that allows her to see her errors. I really wanted to like her again before the season ended, as she was originally my favorite character. And yeah, the show came through for me. So far, Diane has grown more over Season 6 than she has throughout most of the show. Get it? Because she got fat. But given the importance of this character to this channel, I think with all the gripe I've given her in the past, Diane deserves to have the spotlight put on her when she makes significant improvements. So, here's a season journey video just for Diane. Diane ended Season 5 in a difficult mental state. Her boss, Stefani, wants to make her the face of Girl Crush's new video streaming. Diane doesn't want the job, however, because she doesn't trust herself.
I'm a hypocrite. I'm miserable, and I make other people miserable.
Stefani explains why Diane is struggling so much with herself.
You know what your problem is? You hold everyone to an impossible standard, including yourself. It's super helpful for writing hot take shakedowns and clickbait takedowns, but totally toxic for your personal life and internalized sense of self-worth, girl.
This analysis is crucial to understanding pretty much everything about Diane, and it will make itself relevant throughout the next season. So Season 6 begins, and we see Diane touring around the country, once again taking people down in hit pieces, but with videos instead of writing. Now is a good time to ask a question. Why is Diane so good at and so obsessed with takedowns? Well, it's like Stefani said, Diane demands an impossible standard from everyone, and that mindset is great for environments that want to take those thriving down, as well as build up those who believe they're struggling. Put on a website like Girl Crush, Diane's need to improve the world has found a way to blossom in a manner that she's talented at. This all results from Diane being someone who believes there's a gray cloud behind every silver lining. This is why it's so difficult for her to do even a single feel-good story.
We could do feel-good stories. What about that girl who opened up a lemonade stand to pay for her dad's cancer treatment?
How is that a feel-good story? Hey, America, we're the only developed nation without subsidized healthcare, so this child joined the workforce in a desperate bid to keep her father alive.
All it takes is one bad thing to happen in a feel-good story, and Diane becomes obsessed with that detail. She wants to improve the world, so anything that's out of line, she feels she needs to point it out. Who cares how bright the bright side is? The problem is still there and it needs fixing. But the most telling thing about Stefani's statement is that Diane does not only apply this logic to the world, she also applies it to herself. The reason why Diane is seen as a hypocrite is because she can't live up to the standards that she creates herself. In fact, she often makes really bad choices. But when she makes those choices, she does mentally put herself through the same shame that she forces others to go through. This explains why she's miserable all the time. She can't be happy with herself because herself is not that perfect person that she thinks she's supposed to be. All of this can be seen in Season 6, but it also all begins to change. As Diane is cruising the country, she begins to form a relationship with her cameraman, Guy. No, not them. Guy is a buffalo from Chicago, a Chicago bull, if you will. Unlike Diane, he is able to see the positives in situations and focus on them.
Oh, and look, the new White Whale building.
You cannot be excited about a giant corporation like White Whale setting up shop in your hometown.
I'm just excited we got a new big building.
Recall that Diane was originally attracted to Mr. Peanut Butter because of his positive outlook on life. He pulled her away from the negative mindset and environment she had trapped herself in. Diane finds a similar attraction to Guy, but he seems to be a bit more healthier for her because he acknowledges when there's a problem. But more important than his positive outlook on life, Guy has a positive outlook on Diane.
You're the most beautiful person in the world to me. You know that, right?
Guy makes Diane feel like, even though she's not that perfect woman in her head that she's striving to be, maybe she doesn't have to be. Maybe being Diane is all she needs to be. But it isn't that simple for Diane. She might be happy with Guy, but every silver lining has a cloud.
I can't be with you if you're the only good thing in my life. It's too much pressure. I'm sorry.
If Guy is there, Diane could lose him. Her judgmental and depressing behavior could chase him off. So rather than going through that pain, she feels it's better that they simply don't be together. And she almost lets this mentality sink in, if not for a letter from Bojack.
I wasted so many years being miserable because I assumed that was the only way to be. I don't want to do that anymore.
Inspired by Bojack, Diane takes a risk. She lets herself be happy, even if she might lose it later.
Look, Diane, I gotta...
And the thing about making your own grilled cheese sandwiches, you can do it anywhere. You know?
Yeah?
Yeah. So I guess that's another good thing.
This is a major step for Diane in improving her mentality. She's starting to look for reasons to be happy instead of reasons to stay miserable. This step forward is a start, but it's not the complete journey. Diane, not wanting to work for White Whale, quits her job and instead decides to focus on writing her book. But now, she's not looking at the world and trying to improve it. The book is about her. With the world and its problems no longer there to distract her, Diane has to focus on herself, and she's not her own biggest fan.
Well, I don't want to interrupt your flow. Please, right on.
Diane's self-deprecating mindset begins to take hold and leads her down a path of depression. She has a solution for it, those being antidepressants, but she doesn't want to take them. In classic Diane fashion, she finds more reasons on why she should remain miserable.
They put me on Prozac in college, and I was so calm and boring, I didn't even want a live journal. It made me break out. I gained weight. What if you leave and come back to this person you don't even recognize? What's the point?
Of antidepressants, I believe the point is to be antidepressed.
Sure, or you just flip over the nothing, and underneath there's more nothing.
Diane has spent her life trying to fix things, trying to fix the world, trying to fix people, and now it's time to try fixing herself. But in the past, trying to fix things never yields the results she wants. She tried exposing celebrities for the wrong they did, but people just moved on to the next story. She tried helping people in third world countries to find that the only difference she was making was to a billionaire's ego. Even recently, she tried to bring down a massive, totally not Disney corporation, only to find that everything she was doing was helping them. Whenever she tried to fix something, or in her words, whenever she tried flipping them over, there was just more disappointment waiting underneath. Why should she expect anything different when she's trying to fix herself? Once again, it takes some guidance from Bojack, a now changed horse, to help Diane understand the situation she's putting herself in.
I bought into this idea that I was the thing that couldn't be changed. So the reason I came to Chicago is I wanted to thank you for believing in me when I didn't, and for encouraging me to accept the help I needed.
Bojack acts as a reward for Diane. Throughout the seasons, she had not given up on believing that he could be a good person, despite everything she knows about him. Now that he has finally accepted he can return the favor to her. Bojack believes in Diane, and he wants her to believe in herself. The next time we see Diane, she's gained a lot of weight. Yeah, I made the joke earlier, but this physical growth is a metaphor for her emotional growth. Diane is now taking her antidepressants, and as a result, has gained weight. But it shows she's willing to submit to a life of trying to improve. Not trying to be that perfect person in her head, but striving to be happier. And that's where we leave Diane. For now. Just like Bojack, her new mentality will most likely be tested by what's to come in the final episodes. How will Bojack's cancellation affect Diane's now very good life? Will she persevere and continue to enjoy the silver linings? Or will she go back to looking for gray clouds? Only time will tell, but despite my constant nagging of this character, I do genuinely hope that in the end, she does find happiness. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
You flip over that nothing, and there's more nothing underneath that. So you just keep flipping over nothings all your life because you keep thinking under all that nothing, there's got to be something, but all you find is nothing.
Sure, but you flip over this pizza box, and look, a couch.